This program was pre-recorded.
You've entered the Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher, political analyst and socio-political prophet, and Kevin Gallagher, TV and podcast host and opinionated jackhole. So settle in, grab a beverage. It's time to talk some politics. It's Fletch Nation. Now here are the boys.
Hey. Wow, getting a little rollback on that.
Yes, we did. Didn't we?
Welcome once again to Fletch Nation. He is our FIMKG, here to give you the FYI. PDQ.
Oh, listen, Kevin just got all fancy.
From the OSBS.
Holidays really helped Kevin.
Hi.
Just talking in code.
Did everybody have a Merry Christmas?
I hope you did. I had a great Christmas.
Good, I'm so glad.
Went to Atlanta and enjoyed my grandchildren in a couple of days and came home and actually drove with my Golden Doodle, River.
Yeah?
Oh, he was great on the trip. He was really good. He did a great job. So I was pleased.
Dogs, I think a lot of dogs make good traveling companions.
My daughter appreciated, my son-in-law appreciated how good my dog was. That means nothing happened in the house.
There you go.
There you go.
It was a quiet, low-key Christmas in Casa Gallagher, but that was just the way we wanted it. So
that was the way I wanted it too.
all good. Now we're on to New Year 2023.
And we had this huge freeze, and it's still going on around the country, and we don't feel it as much here, but it's got a little chip. But it was like 7 in Atlanta, I think, one night. Mm-hmm. It was cold. It was really cool, especially when I had to take the dog for the walk. But given all of that and what's going on at the border, I think that it was time for the president to go to St. Croix on a vacation.
Oh yeah.
And he took off, and I remember when Ted Cruz took his daughters to Cancun, his family to Cancun during the freeze in Texas.
Oh.
All hell broke loose. The world had ended. Ted Cruz is a scumbag, and we'll never vote for him again. And the president now has gone in the midst of this terrible weather that we're having, and in the midst of a border crisis, and not one word about it. Ridiculous. So, that's, but there's only some more ridiculousness that has occurred in Washington we have the omnibus spending bill.
Ooh, what a monster that is. $1.7 trillion, over 4,000 pages in length.
And as they look through it, there's so much garbage and waste and crap in it that it just makes you just get ill. Mm-hmm. We spent $44 billion more on the Ukraine to help the Ukrainian border, and there was also other allotments to other countries for their borders.
Money laundering.
Guess what border was left out, Kevin?
Yep.
The American southern border was left out.
Sorry.
And we're here now in the midst of all this spending, and we have a fight over Title 42, which was a program, in other words, stay in Mexico instead of come here. And what we have witnessed is that, Biden said it himself, we haven't been enforcing Title 42 for the last 2 years. We're not going to start now, even though the Supreme Court put a stay on the court order that said, no, Title 42 has to end. And it was an interesting, I'm going all over the place here of trying to build a story for you, which is you have a nation that's facing very serious difficulties, and we have a president in absentia and a Congress in goofiness. That's what we have.
Whistling past the graveyard, a bunch of them.
At best, whistle past the graveyard. But the Title 42 decision by the Supreme Court to put a stay on the lower court's decision to let it elapse was interesting because Justice Gorsuch and Justice Brown wrote dissenting opinions to it. The 5 justices are allowed, they said, no, we're putting a stay on this thing. But there were two justices that wrote dissenting opinions, Gorsuch and Brown. And one of them is a Trump appointee, one of them is a Biden appointee. And they both said, look, it's not the court's prerogative. It is not the court's role to be a legislative body. This thing has to be handled by Congress. You either handle it or you don't, but we're not going to give you a way out by this court legislating that the Title 42 don't end or it does end. We're not going to do that. And that's the proper role of the court. And I mean, conservatives wanting the court to step in and stop it, I understand that. It's because it's a bad decision to allow that policy not to exist. But for the courts to do it is ridiculous. And it is up to Congress to do it. And Congress will not do it. They do not want to do anything on immigration. It's fundamentally a problem that is creating an enormous problem for the country.
Why?
Let me give you an example. Under Joe Biden, illegal aliens, that's what they are. I'm not going to call them anything else but what they are. They're illegal. And they are alien to this country. They're not citizens. Illegal aliens who cross the border under Biden is 5 million. 5 million. Listen to this. More than the populations of Wyoming, Vermont, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Delaware combined.
Wow.
In other words, they could form a whole state. That's how many that Biden has let in by not building the wall and not enforcing Title 42. So here we are now, and it appears to me that the Biden administration's whole thing is keep the border wide open. Keep it wide open. And immigrants are telling people, these illegal aliens are telling people, the reporters down there, we came to come in because we heard the border was wide open. So it's created an enormous problem. And you know, I think it's funny that when Abbott and DeSantis send fly illegal aliens around the country to
Martha's Vineyard thing?
Yeah, all that stuff.
About 50 people.
That's all cute and it's funny. But I got to tell you something. If there's an invasion, all they're doing is allowing the invasion to occur everywhere. Shut the damn border down and have an immigration policy that says you get in this country legally or you don't get in this country at all. And if you come to this country to get in, you better have some value that you're bringing with you. That seems to me to be a logical and consistent philosophy that every nation in the world has that we ought to have. Just
it doesn't seem the least bit unreasonable to me, Roy.
Thought I'd go off on that a little bit.
You did quite well.
And I'm gonna bring it back to something that we fought now for 2 years, COVID. Because and I'm gonna do this in the next segment because I don't have time here to explain it to you. But I got to tell you, COVID. Don't think that we're not going to have another issue with COVID, because we are, and I'm going to tell you why when we come back. And I'm a little early on my break.
That was
and
really
I kind of messed that up, but that's okay. You stick with us, and I'm going to tell you that story.
Fletch Nation, 3 minutes. Be right back.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
You could be driving a...
Now's the time to save on new Accords during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana. Get our lowest prices and biggest savings on our largest selection of Accords this year. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana, I-49 just south of Opelousas.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Roy, you tantalized us with the topic and said you would explain why.
We're talking about immigration. We're talking about our borders. We're talking about the fact that our borders are porous. Now let's talk a minute about what's happened in China. China has had COVID. They have a pandemic in China. Mm-hmm. I've read roughly 270 million cases have come down. And, China had the zero tolerance policy.
Yeah, COVID zero.
And they were putting people in apartments and letting them die. Mm-hmm. Well, now China has decided to open up. They're allowing their citizens to travel again outside of the country. Are you kidding me? And we are sitting here going, oh gee, tourism.
From China.
From China.
Spread that
China.
virus.
And guess what?
All the latest variants
Guess
too.
what they're going to bring with them? COVID.
Yep.
COVID. And guess what we now know? That the vaccinations are not going to stop COVID. Whether, I don't care, you can argue it any way you want to argue it, but the fact is that the vaccinated are getting COVID more than the unvaccinated.
Every one of you knows at least one person who has had the two main shots and at least one booster that still got sick with COVID.
Come down with COVID. Let's don't even talk about the impact of COVID on children and on young adults and on people in their from 35 to 55. Let's don't talk about that. And whether they myocarditis and all kinds of other, and pulmonary embolism and all kind of things that now they're starting to say, ooh, we may have a little problem.
Well, they have this thing now they're calling sudden adult death syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
Which is somebody like 37 years old that just got his latest COVID shot. Drops it.
But anyway. But let's don't talk about that. Let's just talk about COVID. So the president's at St. Croix. The Chinese are opening up, and look, the demand for travel is up 850% in China.
Oh, sure.
Oh, they want to go everywhere.
They want out.
They want to go everywhere. Oh my God, you got a mask on over there. They want to go everywhere. Okay, fine. except for one problem. They're going to bring COVID. Now, they don't know what kind of strain of COVIDs that are mutating in China with all of these people. They don't know any of this. They're just going, we're going to let them come to this country?
Yeah, you're about to find out.
We're about to find out, and I got to tell you something. Do you think strategically that China wants their people to travel because they want them to develop their minds and see the world? Or do you think that perhaps every one of those people are weaponized?
Spread that virus
with COVID.
What's the next variant?
I'm sorry, I'm going crazy here, folks. I'm sorry, but I mean, the stupidity of this is what we got it the first time. What happened? Trump tried to shut down the Chinese.
That racist.
Oh my
racist
God,
pig.
they went crazy. Oh, you can't do that. That's racist. It wasn't racist. It was practical, and this is practical too. What I'm talking about. Do not allow that here. Now, they can go through other countries and go to Japan and then fly over and do blah, 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 blah. There ought to be some, at least, if you're not going to close the border, have some sort of restriction on how they have to be isolated.
Something.
For 7 days. They do in China.
There should be something.
China.
All I can tell you is if Orange Man were in the White House, this wouldn't be happening.
No, this would not be happening. And it wouldn't be I mean, use a little foresight, folks. I mean, they're in Congress. They stayed in Congress all this time. And China announced this policy a couple of weeks ago. Why didn't they pass something right there? Because we can't do it because it sounds racist.
Yep.
It's not racist. It's practical. It's what every other country does. Mm-hmm. And we'll see now what happens to COVID.
Well, Roy, what we get is when we get a situation where America has, because of the virus, become distrustful of China. After all, good evidence it came from a Chinese lab, whether by accident or by intent. I think the bat soup theory is kind of...
It's about as stupid. It's about as stupid as his first sound.
But and the other things that we know about China: Chinese drywall, Chinese Christmas lights, lead in this, lead in that, blah 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 blah. And so people begin to develop a distrust of China, specifically the Chinese Communist Party. But what we get back from our media, Roy, is we get all these PSAs and stuff saying anti-Asian hate is a general thing. It's not about hating Asian people.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Koreans and Japanese and Chinese and Vietnamese, they make a great component to our country. They're hard-working, powerful people that make a difference to this nation. But this is not about those people. This is about a policy. It is about a policy that we will not subject the country that we live in to the potentiality of another pandemic breaking out. And don't tell me to go take a shot, given what's happened.
Mm-hmm. But they will.
It's crazy.
They will.
And look, if you want to take a shot, take it. I'm not going to get in that. But now, do what you want to do. But this is the notion that you just allow the carriers into your country is just ridiculous. We got enough problems as it is right now. So
amen to that, my friend.
So that's my rant on this, and the rant is backed up now. Now I'll take it to another place. And it's going to have to wait until the next segment.
You got a good 60-second setup, man. Go for it.
I'm going to get into it a little bit. The 9th Twitter file was put out, I think 2 nights ago, maybe over the holidays. I can't remember exactly. But it's on COVID and what was going on with respect to COVID.
And what was being censored with respect to COVID.
And what was being censored with respect and suppressed with respect to COVID. And what it is a story of government intrusion so deeply into speech, what essentially is political speech. that even some of the people are aghast at what they did. And when we come back, I'll tell you that story, and so you'll be informed.
More coming up on Fletch Nation.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The season of inspiration is the perfect time to discover the enhanced Mazda CX-5, named a 2022 IIHS Safety Pick Plus Award winner, its highest safety award honor. Choose from over 45 CX-5s available at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hey, welcome back, Fletch Nation. And as we shoot this, it is the 28th of December, and we're at the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse.
And so we have to wish you a Happy New Year before we leave today.
Absolutely, and I hope it is a wonderful New Year. I hope that the 2023 is better for Americans in general.
Me too.
2022 is kind of rough. It was a rough year.
Although the predictions seem to be that we may be headed for a really difficult recession period during 23. The economy's not looking very good at all. Even though we're told that it's great, we happen to know that it's not.
Well, I just think the experts, they keep saying, well, we're in recession, what we need to do is raise those interest rates. It's like, well, don't you understand when you raise the interest rates, you raise inflation, people spend less money, and you slow the economy down. And I'm not an economist, so I don't understand. I'm just a layman.
It's
I don't know
called
nothing.
supply and demand.
I don't know nothing, man.
It's real simple.
I just know if I got
demand.
less money, I spend less money.
If there's no demand, guess what happens to price? It goes down. When there is demand, it goes up. It's that simple.
Businesses, they'd want to hire people, but they can't afford to hire people. And, it's really quite simple, I think. But
yeah.
What do I know?
But let's go back to, what do you know?
I don't know nothing.
Let's go back to Twitter.
Yes, the Twitter files. Now, I got to admit, and I don't need to admit it, but I'm only up to date as far as the file number 7. So I'm a little behind. So help me out on number 9.
Well, let's just let me give you a look. Twitter, Elon Musk, when he took over Twitter, started to do an investigation, and basically what Elon Musk, it looks like to me, bought was a crime scene. Okay, and what we are seeing in over the last 8, what they call Twitter files of the release of them, is information within Twitter of communiques between the FBI, the CIA, or other government agencies, let me say, about suppressing political speech and suppressing different accounts, suppressing this, suppressing that. Anybody criticizing, I say anybody, certain people that criticize the administration, it was all to suppress or to censor speech, and particularly political speech. Well, COVID, to take you to the 9th release, COVID is interesting because it is not necessarily political speech, but it is medical opinion. And it has components of political speech in it, okay? I mean, I think you could...
Well, the response is government sanctioned, without a doubt.
Yeah, well,
so.
that's what I'm getting to. And that is, but government has a little leeway in suppressing commercial speech, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're not going to let you go out and claim a product is going to heal you when, oh, wait a minute, when it hurts you, right?
Right.
But wait a minute, I'm talking about vaccines. I'm sorry. But anyway, so the political, so COVID, there was this effort among the government, including the Trump administration. The Trump administration asked Twitter, listen, stop telling people that you have to fear COVID. We don't want people telling people they got to fear COVID. Well, that was and that was basically their, and it wasn't.
Might have been with the best intention, but it wasn't a good idea.
No, that's right. Okay. But then comes the Biden administration and Fauci and all of them, and suddenly they start demanding from Twitter executives and Twitter, the whole thing, stop letting these doctors, these other people that have credentials, stop letting them tell people that these vaccines are not good for you and that masks are not good for you and doing all that kind of stuff. Stop that, censor that, suppress it.
Or existing medicines, which are dirt cheap, might be effective in treating this thing.
Like you call Invectin horseworm medicine.
Yep, ivermectin and hydrochloroquine was another one.
Hydrochloroquine. You call all of that what it is, you call it, that's our position on it, you call it that, and don't let anything else out about it. Okay. That's what they did. That's what your government...
Ivermectin was horsewormer. Donald Trump wants you to take horsewormer.
That's right.
And drink bleach.
Then whatever. And that is so great, isn't it? And now they're saying that Invectin, or however you say that word, is it can be useful.
Yeah.
I mean,
same thing with hydrochloroquine.
Same thing. All of a sudden, the government changed. We never. By the way, their answers. We never told y'all couldn't take that. We never said that. We never said that masks would stop it. We never said these vaccines would stop it.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Oh, wait a minute. I swear to God, I swear that's not what I heard for, my hearing's bad. But I got hearing aids, so I think I heard it right. Huh?
I think we all heard it right.
Yeah, I think so.
Look,
so that's what the government did, and that's what Twitter did. Now, this is just Twitter. We're not talking about Facebook, Google. We're not talking about any of that stuff. We're talking about just one social media outlet, Twitter. And that's what Elon Musk found, and that's what he's released. Now, by the way, because he has, it's not, a lot of people are not angry with the people that lied to them. They're angry with the guy that let them know that they've been lied to. They're angry with Musk, not what happened.
Yeah.
And
they're mad at him because he's telling the truth. It's like, don't do that.
No, he's not even.
God, shut up.
He's not even telling the truth. He's allowing reporters, journalists, to write stories from their own words, their own communication.
Yeah, he's saying, look, here's the data. Do whatever you want. Here it is.
I mean, let's get mad at Musk. We hope his car company goes under. We're not going to buy another one of those electric cars. We're not like that. I mean, it's crazy.
You remember Invasion of the Body Snatchers when one of them would recognize that you weren't
and they start screaming? They would start screaming. Yeah. That was the way the show ended, by the way. They thought they got rid of him, and somebody was walking, and they start, oh my God.
The liberal hive mind.
Yeah, that's... there's some truth to that, huh?
No kidding, there really is.
Dave Chappelle did a whole routine on aliens who they came back to Earth, but they had really been on Earth, and they left it because they wanted to go to a better place, and then they came back and go crazy. I mean,
that sounds
fun.
About
we'll
right.
be right. Speaking of being back, we'll be right back in just a moment, and with the invasion of the body hatchers.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
The biggest sale of the year is happening right now during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on every new Honda. That's right, you choose and make no payments for 90 days at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Fighters. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to Fletch Nation. So happy that you could spend some time with us this weekend as we enter into 2023.
Wow.
Wow.
I never thought I'd make it. Now, but thank God I do. I did.
I had. I
No,
gotta tell you,
a
when
lot
I was
of people that wished I had.
when,
but
when I
that's
was a young man, I had no concept of myself at 63 years of age and living in the 21st century. None whatsoever.
No.
And I think, when we were young men,
it didn't compute.
We probably all thought 20 years in the 21st century, there'd be no tires on our vehicles any longer.
Why, somebody steal them?
No, because your car would float.
Oh, I see. Fly.
Yeah.
You thought you were going to fly.
No, we don't want them to fly. Believe me, float would be good because then you wouldn't have, using rubber all over the place. But believe me, you don't want to have an accident at 500 feet. You do not want to have.
What we didn't know, Kevin, is one of the things I didn't know, but I had been warned about it by really smart people in graduate school in the early 70s. Dr. Paul Grosser in particular, who warned us in class, and Paul and I became very good friends, and we talked about it a number of times, about what he called the technocratic state. And he talked about how all of this data that he thought would be collected would merge into a situation where government could see and prompt and do and direct everything that you did. And more and more and more, I realized how prescient Dr. Grosser was. He was very much on point. People thought he was kind of weird at the time, but then again, they still think that I'm weird.
Our own government spy on us, collect data on our comings and goings, our shopping, our choices, our preferences.
No, your thermostat at home. If you get you an EV, electric vehicle, they're going to tell you when you can plug it in. You see, it's this whole system of what they call social credits, and that you don't speak in any kind of way other than what the narrative is on social media, and you have to build up your social credits so that you can be okay. You won't get canceled. That tends to be. Let me say this much about the Twitter thing. Rasmussen did a poll and found that 61% of Americans want Congress to investigate whether the FBI was involved in censoring posts on Twitter and other social media sites. So it has started to permeate. It has started to permeate the public of what is happening with respect to their free speech rights, and I hope it permeates all over the place because that can't. The Bill of Rights can't be undermined like that, particularly the First and Second Amendment. And number one, and number two is there's no way to fight government policies that seem to be wrong-headed in the public if you don't have speech rights, political speech rights in particular. How are you going to raise an objection? And that's not just for conservatives, that's for liberals, that's for moderates, that's for everybody. You cannot suppress and censor political speech. It's a very, very dangerous path to go down. And I'm fundamental of free speech right guy.
Your percentage that you just reported, what was that again?
61, 62.
61, 62 means that probably some liberals feel that way as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. There's no question about that.
You would think that they would think, well, this thing skews in our favor, so it's okay.
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they feel that way? I mean, the notion that they could not attack Donald Trump, well, that must drive them crazy. Because this censorship and suppression can work both ways. The government is supposed to be neutral, and the government, in terms of political speech, and the government is not neutral right now. The government is not neutral. And if you're not with the narrative, you're kind of canceled and censored and whatever the case, and suppressed.
And this, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but this seems to go deeper than whoever are the cabinet appointee heads of each government agency.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's changed from cabinet to cabinet
That's
to cabinet,
correct.
but yet it hasn't changed from cabinet to cabinet.
That's right. I mean,
The
this
Department
is
of
about,
Justice. The Department of Justice was duplicitous under the Trump administration. It's duplicitous under the current administration.
It is a policy. Yes, I mean, they were very duplicitous under the Trump administration because they promoted a whole fabricated narrative of Russian influence and Russian collusion that did not exist, and they even used the courts to promote it. I'm talking about the FISA courts. They lied to the FISA courts about evidence, and
the Department of Justice seemingly conspired to discredit a candidate and then who became a seated American president.
Yes, and then when he was president,
they continued.
They continued, and they actually apparently listened to conversations in the White House. And I mean, this is true. This is real. This is what happened.
There should be
this
hearings.
is wrong.
There should be hearings. There should be trials. There should be jail time.
Kevin, I wanted to bring up one thing: is that this global warming problem that we have. There seems to be an effort now to say, "Oh well, it's climate change."
Well, it's so cold because it's so warm.
Well, that's right. This all cold stuff is created by. And I started reading back, and I ran across an article many years ago by Michael Crichton.
Oh, I love that author. I love that guy.
And basically, and one by Thomas Sowell. And basically, this was years ago. They were saying, these people are crazy. I mean, this is insane. And this is about power. And this is about control. Mm-hmm. And you see, folks, I was just talking about control a minute ago. This all kind of fits together. And it's something that you've got to be careful about, because as individuals, we only have our freedom and our labor. We don't have anything else. So don't let anybody take your freedom and tell you it's rain, if you follow where I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. On your leg, but it's rain. We'll be right back, and we'll sell you something. And
John Carmouche joins us in the next segment.
Yeah.
Fletch Nation.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremontes.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And a happy New Year. Hope you have a great New Year's weekend. Please stay safe and, all the usual stuff. Don't drink and drive. Designated driver. Stop fidgeting.
Get you an Uber.
Don't fidget when I'm talking to you.
That's right.
Don't play with your food and quit tracking mud across my nice clean floor. I'm sorry.
And take the dog out when he tells you to.
Time for John Carmouche. Let's have another one of our little chats with Roy Fletcher. John Carmouche coming right at you.
We're with John Carmouche here talking about all things Louisiana, frankly. And John is a noted coastal and land and environmental lawyer in our state that's had a tremendous impact on the state of Louisiana and the fight for our coast. John, we were talking in the last segment about dramatic change for Louisiana, and you said one of the things that we need is how we deal with business. In terms of what do you think are the kinds of things that we need to be looking at? It relates to bringing business into Louisiana. Hell, they're leaving California. They're going to Florida and they're going to Texas. How about a little something in between here, for the folks, But that's, what do you think?
I think it goes back to what we were talking about, dramatic change. And it all comes together as one, right? If you can't just change the business environment, you can't just change education, you can't just change crime, you have to have it all.
Right.
And to be honest, why shouldn't we? We live in a great state. We have a great environment for businesses. All we have to do is have enough guts to make the dramatic change. And the first thing businesses look at is all of these CEOs they're getting around the country is the first thing to ask is, what's the education like? All of these people have kids and have families. The next thing is, what's the crime like? So
that's not good.
Even though the business, you might give tax deductions to businesses that done in the past, if we don't change the core of why these families want to move here, they're not going to come. They're not going to come. So you got to change it all. You got to change your education. You got to change. Why is there so much crime here? I mean, come on. This is something that has to be changed, and it can be changed.
Well, one of the things that people may not know about you is that your father was a district attorney for, I think, 6 years down in the 23rd Judicial District. Is that right? Yeah, okay. That's Assumption, and St. James parishes, yeah. Don Carmouche. And we have witnessed an extraordinary explosion in violent crime in Louisiana. I mean, what do you think has created this situation, and what do you think we can actually do about something that's so pervasive in our bigger cities in Louisiana?
Well, first, education. Number two is we have to be hard on crime. For some reason, I think we've gotten the concept wrong of we just let people out on bail for smaller amounts. We ignore major crimes in Louisiana. We need people to know here, if you commit a crime, you're going to be punished. And I think we've gotten away from that concept and actually educating kids in these schools. And to be more frank, in the jails and in the prisons. Some of these kids go to jails and prisons and they're there for a year and they're sitting around doing nothing. They work. Why can't we educate them? Not only education school-wise, math, like you talked about, reading,
but culturally.
But what culturally, and to understand that when you do these things, you give up the rest of your life and you give up your freedom. There's things that we can do in these prisons and in these jails. I was on the board of the Donaldsonville Marine Institute. It was a program where instead of sending these kids to jail when they were minors, they had an opportunity to go to this program and go to school from 7:30 to 7 at night. And a Marine Institute started in Florida, and it was in other states.
Like the U.S. Marine Institute.
Well, I mean, but it's kind of like that.
Yeah, military.
It was a military school.
Yeah.
Not military in nature, but they educated them,
Yeah.
and they understood that there's an alternative here, and the alternative is actually living in a way that you can be proud of yourself and be proud of your family and have a family. And a lot of these kids don't realize that that's available to them.
Yeah, and I guess the other part of it is that you have an entire economy that you there has to be opportunity.
There has to be opportunity, and we've lost big businesses, and I'm not going to mention names, because they couldn't hire the quality of people because they didn't want to come here because of education.
Yeah.
And you know, in schools and places to raise their families.
Yeah. Now, how do you see the whole thing for Louisiana going forward? And not only just the coast, which is what your primary concern is with, but it's sort of the whole thing. What happens if we do the coast? What do we look forward to? What can we look forward to?
Well, first, we need a leader, and we need politicians to quit being politicians and be businessmen and work together. Too many smart people in Louisiana, and actually wake up and fight for what we live for, which is family and culture, right? So we need someone to wake up every morning to fight and go out and seek the best. We deserve the best. And we want the best businesses, we want the best education. We wake up every morning, I see this leadership, and we wake up to mediocrity. And that's been satisfactory for this state. But I think that has to change. It
Different world now, isn't it?
Has to start at the top. And the top, if we don't have a leader, you don't have a leader in schools, you don't have a leader in politics, you don't have a leader in businesses. It's all the same. People don't realize it. It all starts at the top and it trickles down, and we need to be fighters. We need to win. And to win, we have to want it. And that's, I think this state now sees we can have it, other states have it, and we can win.
You know, there was a politician that used to have a slogan called "Why Not the Best?" I forget who it was, but needless to say, John, I appreciate you being with us, talking with us, and we'll see you around some more. Thank you, John.
Appreciate it.
You know who of you?
And we wish you a very, very happy New Year's. We head into 2023 this weekend. Perhaps you're even watching this show on New Year's Day. Because
I guess it would be.
Yeah, we're going to be seen on Sunday night here on Pelican Broadcasting. On
so
cable
there you
systems
go.
all across South Louisiana.
If you don't have anything to do, just join us and let us really get you fired up for next year and what your fights are.
Exactly.
You know?
And of course, some of you are listening to us on some of the fine radio stations across the state who pick us up via the Louisiana Radio Network, and we appreciate that as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Kevin, I don't have any more on my agenda today.
Well, I just wanted to get you talking for about 2 minutes about one thing. One of the stories that I kind of put together because I work part-time as a Louisiana Radio Network anchor reporter.
Kevin's actually a journalist.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call me a journalist. But anyway, we do good journalism work over there on a statewide level. But talked with Billy Nungesser again recently, one of our reporters, and said, what about it? What about governor? You know, I mean, I know you're telling, but you know, what more can you tell us? And he committed to, I'll have an announcement by January the 10th. And also to show you that Billy, you may love him, you may hate him, but Billy Nungesser's a mensch, and he said, I owe it to other people who are considering running for lieutenant governor to make up my mind.
I think that's very fair of him, and but that's interesting that Billy Nungesser gave dates certain. Now, the question I have would be, does Billy Nungesser know that because of that he has a date certain, does he know the date certain that John Kennedy might say he's running?
Good question.
And that kind of gives me the impression that we might be hearing for John Kennedy about January 11th or 12th, somewhere in there.
In my opinion, if Billy Nungesser wants to say he's in, he could be in, because he's not really committed to anything until qualifying. And that comes up, in July?
Yeah, it's later, much later in the year. So yeah, that can happen. But I think the question is, among most of the political people, is Kennedy running for governor or not?
Right.
And the fact that Nungesser has said, I'm not running if he's running.
Right.
So the point I'm making is that because Billy used a date certain, he may very well have the date certain on which John Kennedy may announce.
He may know something. Kennedy's announcement may be coming on January the 9th.
It could be, or it could be coming on the 11th.
Yep.
In other words, Billy, you clear it out, and then you don't know what's being said behind the scenes. Nobody knows that, but it's just interesting that Nungesser left a date certain. I think that's a telltale sign that we will know the gubernatorial race will start to fill very quickly or diminish very quickly somewhere around that date.
Now, as for
that'd be my guess. That's my guess, and that's all I'm saying.
As for Governor Edwards, he sounds like a man who knows something about a strong Democratic candidate for governor in Louisiana.
Oh yes, it appeared so, right? And I think that there is a great effort among the Edwards administration to promote Sean Wilson at DOTD.
Really?
Yeah. So if you like your roads, you will be ready for Sean.
Yeah.
Or Helena Marino, I think is her name, in New Orleans, who's chairman of the New Orleans City Council. I think that one of those people will likely be the candidate for the Democratic Party for governor of Louisiana. And both of them may very well be formidable. One of them would be the first woman governor. No, she wouldn't be. No, because Kathleen. But one of them would be a female, and the other one is an African American. Dr. Sean Wilson.
So, which box do you want to check mark in?
That's it. They covered it.
Until next week, when we come at you with the first show of 2023, what he just said. God bless. Take care.
You've been listening to Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher and Kevin Gallagher. Remember, if you heard something that ticked you off, upset your sensibilities, or threatened your precious safe space,
the opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are purely their own and do not reflect those of this radio station or its advertisers.
So if you're calling a lawyer, or planning a boycott, or a cancel campaign, forget about it and join us next week for more Fletch Nation.